Welcome everybody to a look at the second film in the Wrack and Ruin, the Rubble film at DEFA uh, box set. Yeah, it is 1946's Somewhere in Berlin. So this is directed by Gerhard Lamprecht, who I've not seen anything else from before. And once again, it is a drama, although more specifically a Rubble film or a Trummer film. And yeah, clocks in at 83 minutes long, so it's a minute shorter than the previous film. And the only person I've seen anything else from before is Walter Bloom, who was also in The Invisible Dr. Mabuse, although he was in a slightly smaller role in that film than in this one. So after World War II, Berlin lies in ruins. For Gustav, Willie and their friends, the rubble provides an adventurous but dangerous playground. Especially for Gustav, it helps pass the time as he longs for his father's return from a POW camp. One day a stranger arrives looking helpless and hopeless. Yeah, unlike the prior film, this uses the destruction of Berlin not just as a backdrop, but as a part of the plot itself, and the adults aren't also the focus of this film either, unlike the previous one, as the lives of children are the main focus of the plot. So even though the focus of the plot though is on a specific group of children in Berlin, it doesn't shy away from the darker aspects of the impact of World War II on the people or the city itself. The characters and their interactions are also engaging, it is well paced, the cinematography is on point, the themes are well realised, the overall plot is engrossing, the destruction of Berlin is still staggering. Obviously, we see potentially different areas of Berlin, it's hard to really know which areas are similar or not. They could very well be the exact same parts that were used in The Murderers Are Among Us, but it's still staggering as well. And I imagine in the eyes of a child, it just looked incomprehensible. And it concludes in a satisfying manner as well, in terms of the emotions as well as the themes as well. So on top of that, yeah, really good effort. Another 4 out of 5, to be honest. Yeah, pretty much as good as the first one, I'd say. Probably the characterization in the first one is a little bit stronger, but then again, this is a bit more varied in terms of its characters. You only really have two main characters in the first one, whereas in this one you've got several, a few children and a few adult characters as well. So it's a little bit more widespread in terms of its characterization, but it's still nonetheless effective and yeah, still well done. So this shares a disc with the third film that we'll be looking at, Police Raid. So that'll be in the next review. And yeah, in terms of on the actual disc itself, we have a I'm not sure if it's a restoration. Again, I've forgotten what I said in the previous one, but it is 1080p. Does look and sound pretty good. Again, though, like with the first film, they were dealing with DEFA, at least were dealing with film stock that was, hardly the priority resource post World War II. So they were dealing with whatever they could get their hands on. There are a few scenes where that is evident. There's some lines across the screen. There's at least one scene where it's quite evidently darker than the rest of the scenes, even though it's not set at night. So there are issues in that regard, but on the whole, they've done a grand job of keeping it as looking as good as possible. So we have a new commentary on Somewhere in Berlin by East German cinema scholar Elizabeth Ward. Then, just breaking it down. So there are obviously the extras that I talked about in the previous release. But I think I've said everything about that already. Yeah, it's just basically trying to read through what's on the extras. But still, it's good to have any kind of extras with these releases because, like I've said in the unboxing, these haven't been released on Blu-ray before. They are new to the UK especially, and yeah, it's just a really interesting insight into a very specific small part of time where you post World War II, you pre the German rebuild, and this is a good look at between those years, especially when it comes to the actual people themselves. Because as much as the city being decimated is a staggering insight, it's also the genuine effects on the people as well, soldiers or or civilians alike. So yeah, well worth seeing if you haven't seen this one. But then again, if you've got this box set, I'm sure you'll be going through it as well at your own pace. But yeah, still well worth seeing regardless. But if you have seen it, I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. But nonetheless, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.